Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stream in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. What's up, Panenguses? This is the F Class 97, and well, this is different. Okay, so for now, I'm doing something a little bit different, so please excuse anything, wild or anything different. Right now, I'm just doing this for a little bit. And right now, we're basically going to do something interesting. If you may not know, I have started a new series named How to I.K.E.M.E.N, and this series is based on teaching people from beginners to advanced to people that are familiar with the Mugen engine, or may not be familiar with the I.K.E.M.E.N engine, specific things of I.K.E.M.E.N. And today, we'll be doing that. Those glasses, yeah. These are my glasses. They're a little bit distracting sometimes. Hello, Carlos. Hey. Alright, so here we go. Just want to ask, how is the stream so far? Is it nice and okay? Is it smooth? Is it working? I'm just asking, it's alright? It's okay. Okay. Alright, so this will be recorded. Excuse me while I drink some water. This will be recorded. And this will be part of a How to I.K.E.M.E.N series. This episode is going to be a little bit interesting. This is requested from Kamikaze Black. And he basically requested for me to do a tutorial on how I.K.E.M.E.N's roster table works. Now, I'm sorry if it sounds boring or anything, but this is a tutorial specifically for Kamikaze Black, or for anyone who wants to learn some parts of I.K.E.M.E.N. And I'm live streaming this because, well, he just wanted me to, do that, and I have a bunch of stuff that I have to go through Mugen, I.K.E.M.E.N, and not game-related in general. So, let's start this off. We're gonna transition to my my screen here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make this tutorial step by step. So let's begin. First off, we're gonna take an I.K.E.M.E.N, right? I have two I.K.E.M.E.Ns here. Of course, I have a few things here that is I.K.E.M.E.N related. And we're going to use the most recent build, which is January 21st. Oh, and this is going to be a side note that's going to be pretty important. Is that whenever you get a new I.K.E.M.E.N built and it runs, let me just kind of put this somewhere here. If you get a new I.K.E.M.E.N built that runs, and let's just start it up. So you get a new I.K.E.M.E.N built, you extract it. What are the big things that happened today? I'll discuss that later on, Carlos, if you don't mind. Maybe I'll do it after the stream, or after this part. So anyways, you want to extract your I.K.E.M.E.N. And, of course, you open it up, and it's your normal, everyday, vanilla I.K.E.M.E.N. I'm just going to wait for it to load up. Now, here's one thing that's important for a lot of new I.K.E.M.E.N users and maybe current I.K.E.M.E.N users. You might get this little lag here, and no, that is not the stream, that is the... let me just make sure it's not the stream. Okay, it's not the stream. Alright, you might get a sudden pinch of lag here or there, and that is because the recent I.K.E.M.E.N is now running using OpenGL screen. Sometimes your computer might not be able to run it, and it could, but it's not like it needs a... It's not like I.K.E.M.E.N got buffed to the point where, you know, you need Alienware or something huge to run it. So, let's just, you know, get this out of the way. If you turn on your I.K.E.M.E.N, if it's like January 21st built, and it runs like laggy like this, that is a simple fix. To do this, you go to your SSC folder located right here, and you look for something called config.ssz. Previous episode, we talked about how this area talks about how we change our controls. If you didn't know that, well, I did make a video, I believe, before that. There's a playlist if you want to check that out. You open this with Notepad. You open up this with Notepad, and when you do that, go bottom right down here where it says bool OpenGL, and where it says true, you want to set that to false. Sorry about that. You want to set that to false and save. And that's it. That fixes one of your main issues, which is the lag. So if you open up I.K.E.M.E.N right now and you turn it on, see, it doesn't lag as much anymore. In fact, it doesn't lag at all. So yeah, you got your boring, good old vanilla I.K.E.M.E.N. Whatever. Now, this is going to be Kamikaze's request. Kamikaze Black, to be specific. His request was the roster table. Now, in case you didn't know, let's open up I.K.E.M.E.N again. The roster table, let me just check on this. Okay, we're all good. The roster table, well, it's not really called roster table, at least as far as I know. I call it the roster table. And it's basically this, where you see all these little, you know, random boxes and Kung Fu Mans. This is what I call the roster table. This is where all your characters are. Kamikaze Black wanted to know, is it possible to have it as a single roster table? And if so, how do I do that? There are a couple of examples of this in the I.K.E.M.E.N. There is, of course, Revival, Capcom vs. SNK Universe. Those are actually kind of the only real examples I can give as far as I.K.E.M.E.N. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you played any other Mugen Screen Pack or any other real fighting game, you'll notice that there's only one character select little box. I like to call that the roster table. There are, of course, a couple of games where they don't have that, like some of the Dragon Ball Z fighting games. But let's say, and you know, some people like this format of I.K.E.M.E.N. where it's like, oh, the double, you know, roster for player 1 side and player 2 side. But what if you wanted it to just be one? Well, that's why we're making this video right now, to simply make this one. So, let's go to our favorite place in the entire universe, the, the main.lua. That's basically where, like, the heart of this entire thing, this entire engine is. Inside of the script folder, you want to go there, and you want to open up main.lua with Notepad. And what you do is, well, you got all this code here. Really, what you're going to be looking for is a couple of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to make one roster table where it's only just one character select. We're going to make it like that, and we're also going to kind of make it, like, put it in a different spot on the thing. So once again, let's look at our I.K.E.M.E.N. My wishes has been granted. Welcome here, Kamikaze Black. You just made it. We're about to start right now. Okay, so let's say, for example, you wanted this little section here. You just wanted one, and you want to put it, like, maybe, let's say in the middle. Like in the middle and the bottom. Let's start it slow like that. In the middle and the bottom, and you want one. This is fairly simple. The first thing you want to look for, all the way at the bottom, or you can kind of use your find, which is Control F. I like using this a lot, and especially if I'm looking for like a very specific part of it. You want to go to the bottom, well, not all the way up the bottom. You want to look for a very specific spot. It should be under this, cell mode. Cell mode means selection mode, which is all about the character selection part of the thing. Of course, you can make different modes if you know how to code, but this is basically where the selecting is. You have a bunch of stuff here. You have the background of the character select. You have the portraits, everything here. You want to look for is draw face. Draw face is basically the faces. You know, the little faces when you select your character. This is the player 1 section, as you can see here. Player 1 cell offset, and player 2. What you want to do is you want to take out player 2. Now, this is kind of like a more simple way to do it. This is kind of this is kind of cheating in a way, but it's the best way and practically the only way to get rid of a player 2 section. So what I like to do is I like to make it as off as possible so that it's off screen and you cannot see it. So for player 2, I like to set it to 999, 999 on both sides. This, of course, is the x-axis, which is left and right. And this is the y-axis, which is up and down. Or, you know, so that's basically it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So let's say I save it 999999. Okay, I have it both sides, and I save it. Remember to always save it. I use Control S since that's the shortcut. So if I want to go here, it's gone. Boom, that's it. But then, what the hell is this? I can now select on the other side. Weird, huh? Well, that's just the first step. So you've gotten rid of already your character select on the player 2 side, but it's still there. Well, kind of. So let's fix that. So you want to one main thing you want to keep in mind is you want to remember where your player 1 cell offset player 1 cell offset. You want to remember where this is. You want to remember exactly the x-axis and the y-axis. Excuse me. It's in 10 axis and it's on the 170 y-axis. So let's say, for example, like I said, I wanted it to be kind of in the middle bottom. Kind of like how Capcom vs. SNK Universe has theirs. So let's say I wanted it to be like that. If we look at the I.K.E.M.E.N. right now, what I mean by the Capcom vs. SNK Universe is that I can open up the game right now if you feel like. I'll do it right now. I'll open up Capcom vs. SNK Universe to get a direct comparison to where I want the roster table to kind of look like. So this is the original roster table. This might lag up, by the way, because I'm loading up 2 I.K.E.M.E.Ns at once. So keep that in mind. Right now I'm loading up the Capcom vs. SNK Universe I.K.E.M.E.N. And let's say I wanted it to be kind of like that. I'll show you in a minute. So in the original one, you can see it's all the way to the left side. This is the player 1 section. I removed the player 2 section by simply making it off screen. You know, kind of giving the illusion. Or technically it's not there, but you know what I mean. As soon as CVSU loads up, and we'll go to their character select, and to admire the pretty little colors here and there, and the nice little itty bits of animation here or there. But our main goal is to focus on the roster table. So let's look here. Well, as soon as the game loads. Capcom vs. SNK Lag Universe. Shout outs. Alright, so as you can see here, the roster table is divided. Not divided, but you have these little 2 sections here, little nice sections. And you have this one box here. And I want to, let's say, make it so that it fits in the middle right here. It's lagging a lot. Sorry about that, guys. But anyways, let's say I wanted it to be like in the middle right here, just like how it is. So we'll do that. So wow, it's still there. Oh man, shoutouts to CVSU. Oh god. Yeah, so do I. So do I. That's actually, speaking of which, I need to start doing more screen pack conversions. I gotta finish CVS 3, but I'll probably work on Multi-Blood first, since CVS 3 requires more time to convert the sprites. Anyways, let's go back to what we were doing. So I wanted it to be more. So as you can tell, it was a lot to the left. This also is kind of time trial and error. Sometimes you can sometimes you have to do it like just keep messing with it. Again, it's trial and error. And let's say, okay, it's more to the left, so let's make it 10 instead of 50 and see where it goes. Sometimes I forget, because there are times where I forget, like, if I make it go back to the left or right, because the negatives and positives kind of, like, reverse each other when it comes to that. Okay, so we're doing good. Okay, so as you can tell, I moved it a bit. So what I did was I simply moved it more to the right by making it, instead of 10, I just added, 40 more x-axis, or there we go, 40 more. So now it's 50. 10 plus 40 is 50. Whatever. So basically, I pushed it more there, and as you can see, it was more. It's more to the right now. Of course, it's not all the way to the right. We want it to be kind of in the middle. So we're gonna push it more. Again, this is all trial and error. Let's guess around 125. That might be a bit too far, but let's see. Let's see how it looks. But yeah, let's say you want to move it more left and right. So to move it more to the right, you make a bigger number, and to move it more to the left, you make a smaller number. Okay, so it's a little bit too far to the right, but we're getting in the right direction, no pun intended. I like to use the number 90. That might work. Would say 100, but I think 90 is a bit right from my knowledge. Yeah, that's basically it. It might be a little bit further to the right, just a tad bit, but that's basically it. Now, you also might be wondering, why is my character select cursor, my little blue thing here, it's not there, but I'm still selecting stuff? Well, that's another step, so we'll get to that right now. You guys are getting this so far? Of course, this is live streaming. Okay, Sans Jr. Of course, this is a live stream. When it saves into the archive, you'll be able to pause it, and I'll put some timestamps in the description when it's over. Okay, so we moved it there. So you want to remember where you put your thing in. You want to know exactly which axes are your roster table. So you want to go to P1 cursor. Now if in case you don't know where to look for it, I just go to the top and I press Control F. P1 cursor. That's what it should be labeled. It's labeled under as P1 cursor. This is the animation, the sprite, whatever. So you want to look for this, the P1 cursor. And you got a bunch of other stuff here. You got like where it goes, like if it goes up, it goes -1, it goes +1, like y-axis and stuff like that. So now you want to remember, as if you remembered correctly, our roster table was on 90, 170. 90 on the x-axis and 170 on the right axis. On the y-axis, sorry. As you can see, 170 is already there, but it's still on 10. So let's change it to 90 so that it's exactly like the roster table. So to make sure, you go to your bottom, or you can just type in draw face. I'm right here, so it doesn't really matter. I'm right here. Right here. You want to look up draw face. And see, 90, 170. That's for player 1 side. Keep that in mind. This is for player 1. So you want to go to player 1 cursor. You want to make sure that it's right there and save it. And when you should load it up, it should be right on top. Boom, there it is. And if you can't see, there's a little blue thing right here, and it's now on the right spot. So now it is just like how it should be. Now for player 2, this is where a funny trick comes in. Let me just take a sip of water. Okay. Okay, so this is an interesting trick here. So now that the player 2 little roster table is gone, again, this is where the fun comes in. Remember where your player 1 roster table is, 90, 170. So now you go here to player 2 cursor, and you do the exact same thing. Over here, where it says 169, of course, that's where the old one was. It's no longer 169. Change that to 90, and as you can see here, it's still on 170, so you can keep it like that. And save it. So make sure it's the same position. I like to put it the exact same position. And then, see the blue one right here? I'm moving. I'm going to pick random, player 2. And would you look at that? It's right on the same character box. And that's basically it. Now, it's on the same thing. So there you go. There it is. Alright, so this is the easiest way to do it. If you just wanted to have it right here sitting in the middle where you can select a bunch of characters. But there is something you must know, is that although that is how you do it, keep in mind that because they're sharing the same box, you have to make a specific, this is a little bit interesting to talk about now. You have to, what was I going to say? Okay, you have to have a set number of characters now. Now, one of the beauties of I.K.E.M.E.N is that you don't, because of there's 2 roster tables, meaning that you have a player 1 side and a player 2 side, and they don't share. This is, of course, a good thing when it comes to how many characters you want to add in. So, and there's basically about no limit. You can add as many characters as you'd like in I.K.E.M.E.N as long as your opponent has the exact same characters in the exact same order. However, since you are making it so that they both share 1, you have to have a set number of characters. And that's always good, especially if you're making a project. You don't want to go overboard with characters, and if you do, you at least have a, you don't have DLC to add on top and all that other shit. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to make it so that I.K.E.M.E.N reads a set number of characters. Also, I just realized my stream is lagging a bit. If it continues to do that, I'll lower down the quality as usual. But right now it looks like it's staying stable, I hope. It was working fine now, but hey, at least we got through the tutorial, am I right, guys? Alright, so let's go back. Okay, so, where was I? Okay. So, yes, you have to have a set number of characters now, because they're both sharing. And because they're both sharing, they just have to have a specific amount. If they were not sharing, you can have as many characters you want. But, of course, it'll look a little silly when you scroll down. So, let's do that. So, now you want to add a specific amount of characters. So, let's just kind of add some characters in the mix. Let's just kind of throw in some characters. Let's say, how many characters should we add? Like 10. Do you guys think 10 is a healthy number? Let's say I wanted to add 10 characters to my game, and I wanted it to just be like a row of 10 characters. Or, yeah, let's stick to 10. Fuck it. So let's just kind of... Let's kind of grab some characters here. Who should I use? I think I downloaded some cool characters the other day. Alright, let's just go through like one of my Mugens here that are just sitting here collecting dust. So let's just add some characters here. This character. Let's just add 10 random characters here. This character. This character. So yeah, let's just add some random characters here, just to kind of fill in. So let's see. Let's say I wanted 10 characters. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 more. Okay, this should be the last character. Actually, no. Let's add this one. Why not? Okay, so I added 10 random characters. So, okay, cool. Now we have 10 characters. Let's kind of put them in the select. Let's just add them into the game. Okay, so we got this chick, or this person. I actually don't... like I said, I took some random characters, so I might not remember some of them. Let's take out random select for now. And let's keep Kung Fu Man in there. Actually, you know what? Let's just take out Kung Fu Man and just replace him with random select. How about that? Everyone likes to main random, right? So let's just add random select there, and let's put the rest of the characters here. Mama Wario is one character. You wish. So yeah, we got Cell. I'm pretty sure that's the answer Cell. Of course, we got Decat, the guy that makes the best fucking Ninja Turtles characters. Dimitri. So yeah, let's just add some of these characters in there. When you choose random... Oh man, that video was funny. Shoutouts to Rodney for that one clip of JonTron. It was a good... I guess it was a good match there. And this is one of Rice Pigeon's characters, I think. Okay, so let's count real quick. 10 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 characters exact. And this is, of course, not counting stages. Okay, so we added 10 characters, so let's open up our I.K.E.M.E.N and look at the 10 characters. As you can see, one of them is not there. Let's see, which one is the ugly duckling? Kazuya 2. Ah, okay, I remember. I remember this character. He's fun. Oh, shit, he has an Uno tag? I forgot about this. Holy shit, okay. I guess we'll add the Uno tag version. .def. Excuse me. Alright, so let's try that again. Okay, so let's open up. So now we have our 10 characters. We got, oh, this bitch, okay. Yeah, you wish it was Kazuya Mishima. You got Ayaka, you got Perfect Cell, you got Yui, you got Shredder, you got Dimitri Hibiki, Jubilee, sorry, Kazuya. I picked them by accident, and then you got one of Rice Pigeon's characters, Li Miling, or whatever. Okay, so now you have the 10 characters. Now, this kind of looks a little silly. This little row here, this looks a little silly. I don't know, don't you think it's kind of weird that you have like 4 perfect cells? And you don't actually have 4 perfect cells, you just have a bunch of them in a row. So, let's say, for example, you want, since it's 10 characters, let's think about it. So, you have 10 characters in one row. Let's say, for example, you want it to be like the exact same amount of characters, 10 if you count random select, with characters with 5 rows and 2 columns to make it balanced out so that it fills in like the gap and it looks more complete. So let's do that since there's 10 characters. Okay. Now this is important. You guys got to follow these steps. Okay, so I'll just wait for the stream thing. Hopefully it's not skipping as much. What you want to do is you want to scroll a little bit, or you can use Control F. And find, you want to look for, if you remember correct, oh, never mind, you don't have to go too far. It's right around here. Select rows equals math, floor, blah, 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 all this shit. This little X section is basically where your characters are, and like, whatever. Oh, actually, remember, we added 10 characters, and because there's a column of 10, let's set it to 2 real quick. This might actually be a much easier job since it's 10 characters rather than like a... Okay, never mind, it's glitching. Lol, okay. Rip the stream. No, the stream's alive. I believe. Hello, hello. Okay, hello, welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Oh shit. Alright, shit, we're dropping frames like a motherfucker. Sorry about that, guys. My, laptop hated my internet for some reason, just turned itself off. So let's go back to this. Okay, so where were we? Oh, shit, we're dropping frames. Guys, are we dropping a lot of frames down there? Like, is it lagging a lot? Do you think it's gonna be a problem? Because I might have to actually, like, lower the quality then. Fuck. Okay, now it looks like it's stable. I hope. Alright, guys, you ready? Let's fucking continue. Okay, so where did we leave off? Okay, so we got 10 characters, right? Actually, yeah, where did we leave off? I wanna see if you guys like paid attention, you know what I'm saying? Also, you know, I don't want to go a step further and then forget another step. So I just want to ask you guys, where did we leave off? I believe I was talking about the fact that there was 10 characters and I wanted it to be like fix it up so that it doesn't look like you have like 12 like 4 like cells and shit. 10 characters, right? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so alright, so if we looked back... Okay, the slots were messed up. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's say we looked back. Of course, you have, like, all these cells, and it just looks ugly. So let's fix that up. Now, since it's 10 characters, this is probably the easiest thing to do. But you gotta keep in mind, you have to depend on how many characters you have. So, let's start it with easy. Let's say 10 characters. This still looks organized and whatever. Okay, right? Okay, so this is how it looks like default. Let's say I go down here to select my random. And look at player 2. Obviously, he's not on random select, he's under Dimitri. CVSU had this problem before. And what happened is that they didn't put a cap on where exactly is the limit or whatever. And we're going to teach you how to do that, so you can prevent glitches like this from happening. See, I'm on random, and it tells me I'm on Dimitri. Doesn't make any sense, right? So let's fix that. So you already have, like, let's say what it looks like. Since it's 10 characters, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. You have, it looks more organized. It doesn't look like you have 20 cells or anything. So let's fix this glitch. Well, I don't think it's really a glitch. It's just the way it is. So let's fix that. What you want to do is you want to go to your P1 select, your P1 cursor. I like to use, again, Control F. It's a lifesaver. P1 cursor. You're also going to do this with player 2, by the way. So, sometimes I forget, not that I forget, but sometimes it gets tricky because it takes, you know, trial and error. But okay, so here we go. So, you want to go over here where it's like P1 cell Y and P1 cell X. These are really important. And let's say you want to add a cap. Let me look at my I.K.E.M.E.N for an example, because sometimes I forget how exactly it works, and sometimes I'll be here for like a while, and like I'll forget. I don't know why, it just always happens every time. So let's say I open up my M.U.G.E.N, I'll look at my script. So let's say a good example of M.U.G.E.N is that it has a I believe the total of characters is around like I forget, like 40, 50. I forget how many. Let's open up M.U.G.E.N real quick and see how many characters are there, so we can use this as a good example as well as if your character has like a bigger amount of characters. Because this one is 10, so this one's a lot easier to work with. But with something like Revival, it has like a total of like over 50 plus slots. Not too many, but you know, a good amount, a pretty big amount in terms of like a normal Mugen compilation game or whatever. I'm going too far. Okay, so let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13 times 6 is about 4. 13 times 6 is 18. Carry that. Need like 78 slots? Yeah, like around 78 slots, I believe. I don't know, it's rough math from the top of my head. So this is 78 characters, or at least 78 slots. And notice how, if I go up and down, left and right, it doesn't go to the next character. Well, for one thing, this is a pre-done sprite. 78. Okay, thank you. I was right. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so there's 78 characters and 78 slots. This one is 10, so it's easier. But let's say you had a big number like 78, and you're like, well, shit, how do I prevent a glitch like that from happening? Easy. You go to the P1. Go to P1 cursor. Right? And let's say, for example, okay, so as you saw before, there were 6 up and down. There were 6 select rows, and let's say there was 13 select columns, because there was 13 characters from the left and right, and 6 characters going up and down. So you want to, so over here you'd put a cap on that. Oh, and one interesting note is that over here you might notice a slight difference in code. So let's say, for example, let's go to if PF cell Y is less than 0, then this code P1 cell Y equals 0. Now, if you want, one interesting way I got it to cap was to get rid of this code entirely, except the P1 cell. If it's less than 0, then it equals 0. That's basically it. It won't do any other math equations, since that's basically what it was asking for beforehand. So delete that and just make it that if it's less than 0, it just stays at 0. Now, if it's greater than or equal to select rows, if it's greater than or equal to basically 0 or whatever, then it equals this math equation. Now, all this means is this last digit. Now, as you saw before, the characters in Revival, there were 6 characters in total, 6 slots going up and down, and 13 going left and right. And of course, 13 times 6 is 78, which is a total of 78 slots. So here it was going 6 up and down, and here, since it's 10, it was only going 2 up and down. So let's put that to -2. And watch the magic. And this is for player 1 side, keep in mind. This is not for player 2 side yet. So basically what you're doing is you're inventing a lock, a cap, so that it doesn't go over. So you don't get that dumb glitch you were having earlier. So watch this. See? I'm mashing down and I'm mashing up. I can still go left and right freely, but I can no longer go up. So if I go down to Dimitri, it doesn't pass Dimitri, and the random select doesn't appear below him like it did before. If you look at player 2, however, it does the glitch, but it looks like it appears stable. So do the exact same thing for player 2. So you go to P2 cursor, right here, which is right below P1 cursor. You look over here, you take away this little math equation, so if it's less than 0, it just equals 0. This part right here equals 0. And right here, you want to get the most, you want to get like the amount that's up and down. And since it's 2, -2, save, and that's it. And that is how you fix it, so that you don't get a cap. Now, of course, this varies from number to number. So, of course, watch this. I'm mashing up and down. It's not passing random select. It's not passing. So it's kind of like a regular Mugen or a regular fighter. And same thing for player 2. It doesn't pass. So now your game looks slightly... It just looks better, and it feels better. And, of course, when you return, it's the same position. One interesting note about I.K.E.M.E.N is that it actually does that. It doesn't actually, like, go to, like, the default place. It stays. Okay, so that's it, really. That's all you need to do. Now, of course, if you want to move this, let's say, for example, you don't want it down here. You want to maybe have it up here. Like kind of like Skullgirls or Fighting His Magic. Kind of like what we did before with the draw face, if you remember that from earlier. Where your setting is, you know, where it goes. So let's say you want it higher. So instead of having it 170, let's put, since we're going up, let's make it a smaller number. Let's call it 100, for example. So let's load it up. And as you can see, it's a lot higher. And of course your cursor's not there, so you do the same thing you did earlier with your cursor. So you go to P1 cursor, which is right here. And remember when you changed it from 10 to 90? Well, instead of having it 170, let's just change it to 100 since that's what it was before. And you do the exact same thing for player 2. It's not 170 anymore, it's 100. It went from 0 to 100 real quick. That was stupid, I apologize. And boom, that's it. Of course it looks a little silly, but you basically can just kind of move around where this thing goes. And let's say, let's do one more change before we end the stream. So it looks a little silly, but let's do one more change before we end the stream. Let's say, for example, you wanted it so that it goes just like in Skullgirls or Fighting is Magic. In case you didn't remember, it was, instead of it being a column of 5 characters and a row of 2, it was a row of 2 and a column of 5. So let's say instead of it being like this, you flip it. So what should we do here? One decent trick you can do is change from columns to 2, like so. It might actually start glitching out. Let's see what happens, because I actually tried this earlier, but right before the stream crashed. I mean, not stream crashed, but like when the stream died, and it glitched out, like this. It's kind of weird. Let's see here. Maybe if I changed it to this. Sometimes you gotta, it's kind of trial and error with this type of stuff. But let's say I changed it like that. I actually don't know if that would make it. Let's see. Would it make a difference? Yes, it does. Holy shit. Wow. They look huge. Okay, so because it was 2 and 5, as you saw it before, change this to 2 and change this one from 2 to 5. If I change this to 2.0, let's see if that works. Yeah, because like I said, since you're changing it from it being like a square, like a rectangle going from the side, you're making it going up and down. Wow, they look a lot bigger than it should be. Fuck. Okay, I guess we'll have to fix that now. How do we do that? Let's see. Maybe if we do it like this. This might be a little bit. This might be like off topic what I'm doing right now. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Okay, there we go. So sometimes if you're gonna change it, like instead of it last time where it's kind of like these, where it's like on the side here, like going left and right, this one's going up and down. You might have to change what happened here. So if you didn't pay attention, these were 5.0 before. I changed them to 2.0 because over here this was 5. And then I changed it to 2, so it kind of goes up and down rather than left and right. So if you wanted to go to more characters, you scroll up and down instead of left and right. I changed that to 2. This was right here where the 5 was. This was 2, so I changed that to 5. So I just kind of reversed the numbers. And like I said, since it's an easy number like 10, this is really easy to do. If it's a bigger number, you're just gonna have to work with and kind of manipulate where the position, what the numbers are. Now we did a big change here because as you saw earlier, the character boxes changed. They went from big to small, and they kind of fit. But the cursors did not make the change. As you can see, the cursors are super fat. So what we're going to do is a nice little trick using Command F. We like to do this. Copy this and paste it. And it wasn't 2.0. It was 5.0 when we didn't change it. This was the original one. Go to do this, and right here where it says find P1 cursor, change it to 2.0 instead. Since remember, 5 times 2 is 10. So that's why we're doing these type of changes. Do it here also, since this is where the select, since this is where, like, when you move the cursor, this is how it's going to work. So we're changing it so it's kind of like Fighting is Magic or Skullgirls, where the cursor goes up and down when you want to see most characters. In case you like to change it like that. And that's it. We did all those changes, save, and now watch. Now look at how it looks like now. Now the cursor fits along with the sides. Now, of course, we have this glitch again, where if you go down, it'll shift and whatever. We'll fix that right now. But before we do that, let's kind of fix the position of this so that it can go like in the middle instead of like being like on the side of that portrait. So let's kind of fix where that goes. And like we did before, we go to draw face right here, and okay, I would like to move it up more, so kind of have it maybe reverse it like 90 100, maybe that could do the trick. Let's see. Since we're reversing it, maybe some simple changes like this could work. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, that's not too bad. We can move it more to the right, so we'll do that. And let's just kind of put it like 130 maybe. Remember, this is trial and error, so sometimes it might move a little bit too far to the left, too far to the right. So you just keep messing with the numbers until you get the right little perfect. That's not too bad. Let's see. Okay, maybe a little bit more to the right. Okay. We're almost done, by the way. This is the last part. At least this is the basics, you know, and this is just to get a simple, like, one... Okay, maybe I moved it a little bit too far, so... Lucky 35. Because it's 5, you know what I mean? Oh, that's... Okay, I like this. This is okay. This is okay. I would like to bring it higher, though. This is just personally me. I'd like to bring it higher, so maybe 75. So the x-axis is now 135, and the y-axis... Uh-oh. Did I unplug? Okay, there we go. Sorry if the audio's changed. I might have unplugged my headphones by accident. Okay, so it's a little bit higher. That's good. I like that. And remember to do the same changes to your P1 and P2 cursor. So it's no longer 90 and 100. It's now 135 and 75. Do that for both sides. $135 and 75. Save it and look at it now. Look at it, and it should look a lot better. Boom. It's even a bit more dynamic now that it's moving up and down like this. Now, one big change we must do is, of course, the table. Now, as you can see, you can still no longer go up because we took out that math equation. You could easily take out the math equation as well on the bottom, but it might end up being super glitchy. So what we're going to do is, instead, now that it's no longer going left and right, like now, since there's more characters going up and down than it was left and right, instead of it being 2, change it to 5. Since the most characters you have is 5 up and down. So you do that for player 1 and player 2. Kind of like how we did it before. And watch the magic. And look, it no longer passes. It doesn't go any higher. It doesn't go any lower. You can still move left and right. And this is for both sides. See? Same thing for player 2. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the bare basics, you know, the stuff that if you want to learn how to customize your little character select, your little roster table. And that's it. Why do you have sprites for characters' portraits on Revival? The reason why I did that was because originally I wanted to... let's open up Revival and show you exactly what I mean. The reason why I did that was for a few reasons. It was mostly an aesthetic thing. It wasn't the best decision. But let me show you real quick what I want to do. What I want to do with Revival, what I wanted to do rather with Revival was that I wanted it since Mugen, the way Mugen and I.K.E.M.E.N works with cell boxes are very different. In I.K.E.M.E.N there's no real cell boxes per se. As you can see, there's no real cell boxes like stuff like this. There's no real cell boxes. I made my own, and because, again, I.K.E.M.E.N was designed for some reason so that it's infinite amount of characters. Basically, you can add a... Excuse me again. You can add a cap to it so that you can have a specific amount. But, of course, I.K.E.M.E.N wasn't intended to do that. And if you wanted to add your own cell boxes, you had to kind of... Well, what I did was that I invented my own way, and I just simply made my own sprites. And I tried fitting the characters' heads, cell box. Not select box, cell box as in cell as in like perfect cell phone, you know, like cell phone. Not cell as in select. Cell box. There's different types of cell boxes. There's that one that little black thing that you saw in the background when we were doing the vanilla I.K.E.M.E.N that you might have saw. They do sound alike. They do sound alike, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Anyways, it doesn't really have those with I.K.E.M.E.N, so I had to make my own. And when I did, placing the characters' heads onto each cell box without having to make its own, like, for example, this big cell box thing, this little roster table, is not made the way I did it just now. The way I did it was a much more cleaner version. This here was a placement, kind of like the illusion of it. And the reason why I did this was because I wanted to have like cell boxes, but when I place each head, it wouldn't fit exactly. So what I did was I just made this in Photoshop, this separate piece here. That's what I did. That was my workaround. You don't have to do something like this. In fact, it's not recommended. And if you want, you can just make your own cell boxes after you put each head in position or whatever you want to do. But I did this. Also, there's other reasons why I did it, like for a clever way to kind of hide secret characters, which I might fix in the future, and stuff like that. So that's why I did it, so that it has the head sprites like these. And this could explain certain things, like why certain sprites are certain colors, like on the heads, and they're not on the actual selection. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This was pretty fun. This was an interesting take on it. I hope Kamikaze Black got everything he needs. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave in the comments. If you have any requests on different I.K.E.M.E.N tutorials, I'll probably do them. I've been backed up with a lot of stuff to do lately, so sorry. I'm going to get to that Melty Blood thing, and also, I have a huge announcement to make, and that's going to be ending up in the future. I was messing with some files. Shoutouts to Not Found, and shoutouts to, I forgot his name. I have his Twitter, though. And, Mimikuso, I forgot, I'm so sorry, but I have his Twitter, and shoutouts to him, and shoutouts to Not Found. They're the higher tiers of the I.K.E.M.E.N community, the Japanese I.K.E.M.E.N creators. Recently got in contact with one of them, Not Found, and we've had some interesting chats, and we ended up sharing a lot of really cool things in I.K.E.M.E.N. A lot of very good breakthroughs, I want to say, that could basically blow Mugen out of the fucking water, I'll be honest with that. And there's a lot of things in there that I'll make a video discussing in the future with some links and whatnot and explaining what they do, because trust me, they can change I.K.E.M.E.N for the better. And with the right hands, including mine, they can make I.K.E.M.E.N be a lot greater and more than just a Mugen online tool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace out. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, Pendanguses.